The 4 lost THX trailers, including the Tex and Zerg trailer, were made by Adam Kennington, a former Pixar animator and THX employee. So here is his story and a lost pilot. I was doing some sketches because I was bored. Just then, my iPhone buzzed and I got a Google Mail notification. I opened up the notification and it was from THX. I was quite surprised that THX emailed me unexpectedly. The email read this. Hello Rohan. We heard you had watched the lost 4 THX trailers made by former employee, Adam Kennington. We first hired Kennington in 1997 as we were looking for more people for us to work with. He explained why he wanted to work with us. He had been afraid of our mascot Tex since he first saw said mascot during the theatrical release of Independence Day in 1996. Kennington also applied for a job at Pixar Animation Studios in 1998, working on the animation for Woody's Nightmare in Toy Story 2 and the opening of Monsters Inc. However, due to the unpleasant nature of those scenarios, Pixar had to change them to make them less disturbing and more kid-friendly, resulting in Kennington's firement. Kennington would later steal ours and Pixar's animating computers and softwares to make his own THX trailers and alternate Pixar scenes. Whenever nobody is in either of the headquarters, he would sneak them back in their correct place and claim that he had been working all night making those animations. Then sometime in 2009, after making the final Lost THX trailer, we had enough of his unacceptable taste in horror. We sacked him from both Pixar and THX. Later in sometime during early 2010, he hijacked multiple movie theaters by screening the horror-themed THX Tex trailers in family-friendly films. This led to Kennington being arrested for 20 years for his crimes and he had to confess his wrongdoings in court. With that said, we are happy to send you a DVD of the lost 2005 pilot of the THX Tex trailers in 2 days. Kind regards. The THX team. Another THX DVD? I questioned myself. A pilot? Of how the trailers began? 2 days later, my mom came home with mail and she told me it was in the shape of a DVD, despite her saying she didn't recall me asking for a DVD. I realized it might have been the DVD THX sent me. As I opened up the package, it was the DVD they sent me. The DVD was labeled as Tex Tunnel 2005. It consisted of Tex standing in a dark, haunted tunnel, holding his trademark object, the moo can. My mom wanted to have a look at the DVD and she thought it might just be an innocent DVD. As she left for another shift at work, I was all home alone. At that moment, I realized I could watch the DVD. I put the disc into my portable DVD player to start it up. Before the trailer started, there was a disclaimer. This trailer was made for the release of Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist. The following trailer you are about to see must not be viewed by minors as it contains unsettling scenes, realistic violence and sudden sounds. Viewer discretion is advised. I facepalmed in annoyance, but felt very anxious. Here it goes. I muttered. It started with a black screen for about 10 seconds, until it faded to the THX logo in a dark background, like in the 2007 trailer. Just then, a familiar robot rolled in from the distance, and that is Tex. He rolled off screen into a hallway, leading to his private bedroom. Tex sat on his bed and wallowed.
Oh George. Why?
Tex questioned himself, in his usual gruff and robotic voice as heard in the trailers he appeared in.
Why are people afraid of me?
I got confused there. He's blaming himself? I asked in confusion. Tex sighed as he looked through his mirror.
I'm not scary, I'm a nice guy.
Tex said, as he looked at his reflection.
Sure, I may look intimidating on the outside, but I'm very helpful on the inside.
He then looked at a box that is next to his working desk. He walked up to it to open it up. Instead of revealing what was inside the box, it cut to a shot of Tex opening it up.
I just have to do what's right.
Tex groaned.
They will see. They'll see.
The camera zoomed in on his face during his last words until it cut to black. Just then, it faded into another scene of a tunnel at night. Just then, a man walked in. The man had a dash of resemblance to James Franco, known for playing Harry Osborn in the Spider-Man trilogy by Sam Raimi. He stared at the tunnel for a bit before continuing to walk home. As he attempted to walk home, he heard a faint chuckle through the tunnel. The man stared at the tunnel, wondering where that chuckle came from.
Come in here.
A sinister, brash and deep voice cooed, echoing through the tunnel. The man thought for a second until he decided to look through the tunnel. As he was walking through the tunnel, the man started to hear the same voice chuckling and poking jokes at him.
"I'm over here, Frankie,"
said the mysterious voice, echoing through the tunnel.
"Who's there?"
the man asked.
"You'll see soon,"
the same voice said. Just then, he heard a chainsaw noise echoing through the tunnel, and heard what sounded like blood splattering. The man's adrenaline began to kick in as he breathed in and out rapidly. The man had enough and demanded an answer.
"Whoever's in here, show yourself now."
The man yelled. His voice echoed through the tunnel due to the volume of his voice.
"Follow my voice,"
the mysterious voice echoed. Just then, a moo can from the moo can trailer was thrown towards the man's feet. The man crouched down and examined the moo can. He tipped it upside down and it let out a distorted moo.
"Did you get the hint now, Frankie?"
the voice echoed again. The man walked towards the darkness and a red light cast on one side of the wall. Just then, the light then lit up the entire walls, revealing the figure. That familiar figure was Tex. He looked seriously deranged. He had a wheelbarrow of human limbs next to him, he was covered in blood and he was holding a red glow stick. The man fell back in horror.
Who are you?"
the man asked fearfully.
"I am Tex, the THX robot. Many people are afraid of me and I view that as downright disrespectful. So as payback, I am gonna murder every innocent soul on my list of people afraid of me and THX to kill them."
No. You can't do that. What you're doing is wrong."
the man shouted, getting back on his feet. Tex then replied, as his voice faded to a demonic effect.
"You know what? It's time to play with Darth Texie."
Tex then grabbed out a chainsaw from the back of his belt and inserted his glow stick into it. He started up the chainsaw to slaughter the man with. The man then ran for his life out of the tunnel, while Tex can be heard laughing madly and throwing taunts at him.
"Hey Frankie, I only want frankfurters for my hot dogs,"
Tex called out, before laughing stupidly. As the man was about to reach the nightlight, Tex then dropped down in front of the tunnel.
"Peekaboo,"
Tex teasingly mocked. The man then pushed him out of the way to escape. Just then, Tex suddenly teleported in front of him.
"You can't extinguish the Tyrannosaurus, Tex."
The man noticed a panel of wood next to him. He picked it up and whacked it in Tex's crotch. Tex howled in pain as he felt the panel of wood go right up his robotic nut bolts, before blowing multiple raspberries, exposing his robotic tongue, while shaking his head around. The man then ran off again to escape the tunnel. As he was about to go over the fence, he was suddenly knocked back by the engine of Tex's chainsaw, which came flying towards him. The man fell to the ground, groaning in pain. Tex then flew over the fence, with his jetpack on before landing on the ground.
"It's nice of you to come over, Frank,"
Tex mocked.
"I am gonna finish your puny little life right now."
The man tried to walk up, but he couldn't move his back because it was fractured from the collision with the capacity of the chainsaw's engine.
"Dog, what's wrong, little Frankie?
Tex mocked.
Can't get up?"
The man was offended by this and he shouted.
"I am not a baby. You're just being a moron."
Tex just chuckled, ignoring what the man said.
"Sorry, Frankie, I'm just messing with ya."
Tex replied. The evil robot then picked up the man by the throat, strangling him.
"This is your last day on Earth. You will not love what I am gonna do to you."
Tex said deviously.
"What are you going to do?"
The man angrily asked, through his chokes. Tex didn't answer. Instead, he gripped onto the top and bottom rows of the man's mouth, breaking his skull. The man screamed in agony as he was being harmed really bad by Tex. His scream echoed through the night. I could hear his bones cracking while watching that horrible scene. I cringed a lot at that scene, but I had to keep watching. The man continued screaming and screaming until Tex finally snapped his jaw in half, letting out a loud crunch. The man fell to the floor. He couldn't talk anymore, all he could do is just moan and wheeze.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't understand you.
Tex mocked. The man tried to talk, but he can't due to his broken jaw. He just wheezed and moaned angrily. Tex then grabbed his chainsaw and started it up again.
Let's make some frankfurters for sexy Texas hot dogs.
Tex yelled. The man whimpered in horror as Tex was about to kill him. As soon as Tex was about to swing his chainsaw down onto the man, it cut to black. The trailer then faded back in, and boy, was that crap messed up. It showed a view of the THX trailer back in the hideout. I can see the man's corpse lying inches away from the logo. His bottom half was pulled away from his upper half, leaving a bloody trail. His head was bruised and stabbed by a couple of knives, and he was missing one of his arms. That imagery made me feel really sick that I had to run to the bathroom and I vomited into the toilet. At that moment, I felt okay now so I could watch the end of the trailer. Just then, the same screaming deep note from the 2007 Halloween trailer raised and played. Just then, Tex dropped down in front of us and said,
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Texie is now on a killing spree.
Tex then unscrewed his belly button. As soon as he unscrewed it, a black and red spirit came out of the hole and into Tex's nose. Tex sniffed the spirit in and sighed in relief.
Do you smell that?
Tex asked, as he screwed his belly button back in.
That's the smell of sweet murder victory.
Tex then grinned creepily and stupidly at the same time.
So, if you ever get scared of me, or THX, then it'll be the last day where you live. Sweet dreams.
Tex said, as he pressed the button on his chest and flew off into the darkness, laughing evilly. The trailer then faded to black, and the slogan, "The audience is listening," appeared in a bloody font. Underneath was a small caption that said, "Made with help from Adam Cunnington." As this screen was displayed, Tex's evil chuckle can be heard echoing in the background. The DVD finally ended. I got so anxious and angry that I had to email THX about what I saw on the DVD and sent it back to them. THX accepted the request to have the DVD back so they can announce the entire story about Adam Cunnington to the public. That night, I had a lot of nightmares about Tex murdering me in a dark, scary and eerie place. So, it turns out that the mastermind behind those lost THX trailers is revealed. Never mind everyone, you can all associate with THX again. It was just some sick man traumatizing children and people around the world with his sick trailers. It was a good thing Cunnington got what he deserved for all of his crimes, even though I still got scared of Psycho Tex. Stupid Cunnington.